Hi, Al. Good to see
Hi,
you.
good to see
How
you
are you
too.
doing?
I'm really well, thank you. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Just been busy with working on Strange Fruit and a few other projects. Written another short film that I'm on very early stages of pre-production. Also learning how to manage social media, which is a whole different world to me. Other than that, um, yeah, just nonstop work. But this is the city. This is the demand. Everybody I know is just grafting hard. Um, how about you tell me about where you at the moment, or where acting has taken you?
Sure. Well, first of all, I'm glad to hear that you're doing so well and you're doing so many things. That's great. I'm in Rome at the moment. I moved back to Italy in June and then in Rome to Rome in September. Yeah, it's really good. I'm kind of finding my way around here, but the last few weeks have been really busy because I was shooting in northern Italy for a feature film, and then I did some acting training with some great actors. This is the one of the great things of being here is that I found this network of amazing actors, so I feel like I'm learning just
Mhm.
watching. you know and yeah, and like things have been going well. I'm auditioning quite a lot, thankfully also using English quite a lot here. So yeah, I'm really happy, missing London a bit.
Mhm. I think it's amazing that you're a successfully pursuing your passion and you get to live between two beautiful cities. Definitely jealous. This is something because I love to travel, never been to Italy. So hopefully I could plan something to come down see you guys. Let's talk a little bit about Strange Fruit. As you know, I've shared the script with you, and we've had a few discussions about the narrative, about the characters, and especially your character Maria. Through our several discussions, we've added more layers to her character. We've discussed her backstory. Would you like to speak a little bit about her backstory?
Sure. So Maria, I love her already. Like, I cannot wait to uh, properly get into her shoes. So I see Maria as a quite gritty kind of woman. Well, she's Italian, but she moved to London when she was very young. She's still very much Italian because her culture is in her family home. However, she also grew up in London since a very young age, so she loves certain aspects of the urban culture. She loves techno music. I see her
Mhm.
as a techno lover. She loves fashion too, but a quite kind of alternative kind of fashion. So I see her literally visually as, if you want, a bit extreme
Mhm.
too. She's very outspoken. Like I said, she grew up in the tougher areas of London, very much used to multicultural and multiracial societies and environments.
Mhm.
She was all right at school, but never really loved studying. So she never went to uni. So straight after college, she just started working. I see her working in different retail stores because she likes clothes. Like that's her passion. I haven't gone, maybe, I haven't gone into that. I'm still kind of writing like the backstory.
Mhm.
So yeah, so kind of like a gritty direct, but then on the other hand, I also see her quite maternal. um so I would love to give her different layers, because obviously, you know, we're human beings, we're never one thing or the
Complex
other.
creatures, yeah.
Yeah, we're complex, and you know, and we can be opposites too, right? Depending on the situation. And so yeah, obviously she went through trauma like all the women in Strange Fruit. She did go through trauma, and in my backstory, and like we discussed too, I see her going through trauma in her as a kid. Perhaps she's been attacked by a group of boys that used to bully her all the time, and then there's this one time, or maybe a couple times, when they physically attack her and
Yeah.
rape her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's sad. Like when I was writing this character, this was one of the things that I had in the forefront in my thinking process, is that yeah, she growing up, as you said, in a tough neighborhood where people are so consumed into day-to-day survival, and nobody really pays attention to mental health, or like you said, maybe lack of exposure, education, lack of time. So yeah, and how that affects someone seeing those perpetrators day to day, and how it affects them. So I really like how you added more depth, facts in her character, in a storyline, and like you were saying, in her day to day, because all these factors really help to elevate the performance. Have you or someone you know that have like suffered from something similar like this, and how do you feel about victim blaming, and the narrative that is going around, that if somebody has been through this ordeal, they put it upon themselves, i.e. from they were too inviting, or what they were wearing, or just you know, these general kind of issues that we face in our society.
These are such huge issues, you know, like subjects to, again, here it's not black and white. I believe, I mean, we know, so let's start from the facts, right? So we know that the huge majority of sexual assault comes from someone who the victim knows. So it's not like a stranger jumps out of a bush and assaults you. No, that's not the way it works. So often it's a lot deeper. The relationship and the dynamic, it's a lot more complicated. And on the victim's side, there's already shame. There's already shame because you're violated in your intimacy. So, you know, there's already like this kind of feeling of like guilt and shame and dirt, somehow feeling like dirty from the inside, which is awful. So on top of that, victim blaming is absolutely this is what I think is absolutely ridiculous and quite disgusting, because it still comes from a society that very much puts men on top. And this is the truth, you know, to say that a victim called it on herself because of the way she was dressed, that, you know, to be violated like that is an awful thing to say. And it comes to, and it's also very much linked to the matter of consent, right? So what is consent? And I mean, also this is and I think that I want to say that sexual violence is not just women are victim of sexual violence, men are also victim of sexual violence. It just so happens that the majority of victims are women because of the history of society, right? But you know, I'm not saying that men are bad and women are good, or women are victim. This is not what I'm saying, but we're just looking at the numbers here, right? So consent, I always like to go back to an interview that Amber Rose gave on It's Not Me, It's Men, which was I think it still is a talk show on the Oprah Winfrey's network. This is an interview that when, I think it was 2016 when it was aired, and Amber Rose was being interviewed, and Amber Rose is she's a model, an American model, singer, and she's also she's famous because she started this she started the walk of shame. So it's this kind of you know, it's a walk of people that dress up in a certain way. You just walk down the LA streets, and I think they do it in other cities too, and she's the one who started this walk of shame. So what she says during this interview is that she, and I'm quoting her, she says, if I'm laying next to a man and we're naked on the bed and he's got a condom on and I change my mind, that's still no. No means no, even in that situation. So even if you're gonna get blue balls after, no means no. And when the interviewer tells her, well, you know, I know this saying that says dress the way you want to be addressed.
Okay.
And she goes, well, that's ridiculous, because if I'm at the club, right, with my girls, and I'm wearing a tank top and a short skirt, and I'm there with my girls and I'm feeling sexy because I want to wear what I want to wear because I feel sexy like that, that does not mean that I'm there to have sex that specific night. Quite the opposite. And this is the point that, you know, we are going through a renaissance for women, but this renaissance should be for men too. You know, it should be liberating for men too, to be able to see a woman dress a certain way, to be aroused, but still not think, oh, okay, so that means that she's out because she wants it. I'm not sure if that makes any sense.
No, it does. I mean, this is a very important communication that, like you said, men and women should have between them regarding consent and understanding each other's perspective. I mean, in my understanding, there's no misunderstanding or conflict that cannot be solved through an open, honest discussion. But then again, it is easier said than done, because when emotions and egos are running high, it's easy to just get carried away, you know, like men historically, we just, like, when we feel rejected, we act either out of fear or ego, and instead of taking it personally, we should understand and respect the choice of the opposite sex. And it's not the end of the world. There's nothing to be proven. There's nothing, you don't have to make it your mission to like destroy or someone's life just because you were rejected. And the same, it's very easier to misunderstand situations where you can think that someone is coming on to you, but again, like I said, these are difficult conversations, because you don't want to put your heart or your emotions or your vulnerability out there and then be crushed. So same as men should be responsible of their actions, same goes for women. Like sometimes I think it needs to be more like clarified and direct, and no room for misunderstanding or open-ended things. So, you know, we kind of protect each other from falling into these traps,
Yeah.
if it's the right thing to say.
And we should also understand each other. Like, I just finished reading a book about men's brain. Like, I love men, like, honestly, and I think men are great, but like women, I love women too. But and we're all human beings, yes, but we worked in very different ways, right? So as women, we must understand how men work biologically, and so men must understand how women work biologically, and by that I mean hormones, right? So men have a lot of testosterone, so of course there's also certain, you know, if I'm going to a work meeting and I'm wearing stuff that it's not appropriate for a work meeting, and the guy in front of me looks at me, and maybe he's a young, healthy man and happens to have an erection because that's how his body works, right? It's not, and then like, I also have to understand that perhaps maybe I should, you know, I can be sexy without having a super short skirt and, you know, and everything. But, you know, to a work meeting, if you're going to a club, you're going to a club, like, and then men have to understand that, yeah, we're at a club, so chill, because everyone is dressing because of the environment, right? So, so like you said, is about communication, is about understanding, is about curiosity, but ultimately also is about love, because we have to approach everyone and everything with love, you know.
Exactly.
And going back to your first question, about if I know someone or if I went through something as traumatic as that, I would like to, not without going into details, but I would like to go into what I think about our art is, right? So we are storytellers. You know, and I'm a storyteller through my body, you're a storyteller through your eyes when you direct, through your words when you write, but we're both storytellers. And I think what we do has the potential to really help people, because through the stories that we tell, people can go through a catharsis and therefore free themselves from their own pain, because they see someone else. Literally, that's how theater was born in ancient Greece, right? As a catharsis for the audience to go and like liberate all that pain and suffering, or you know,
even therapy, I would say it's very
exactly. But it's so this catharsis happens for the audience, but it happens for me too. So if I go through, so if I fully show up to the work, open and ready, with my instrument ready, emotionally, physically, vocally ready, and I put my ego aside, so I put myself aside and I let the story of the character go through me, I, Eleonora, also will be freed from my own pain. This is all I'm gonna say about that. So, you know, I do this job because I want to help people, but I also do it for a selfish kind of way, because it's healing.
You living the truth in that moment. And everything that truth brings, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, physically, mentally, you're going through that.
You are yes, because emotions are energy, like everything, right? So and then we can go further and further into this rabbit hole, but we won't. Okay. We won't. But yeah, emotions are energy, so you are literally traversed, you know, by like this energy goes through you, and therefore all your cells are vibrating with this energy that it might not be yours, of, you know, Naveed and Eleonora, but it's definitely of the character.
Amazing.
You know.
So tell me, when are you thinking of visiting us in London?
Well, for Strange Fruits, I'm coming. So you tell me.
Well, I'm just looking forward to seeing you. You know, we've got still a couple of days left on our crowdfunding page. Once that's finished, we see where we stand, and then start planning.
Yeah, we're almost there, right?
So before I give you a date and we book a flight, I want everything in order. Yeah.
Sure. No,
So
but it's exciting because we're almost there.
mhm,
Like, it's gonna be like this, and we're gonna be on set. Like, this is for
it's
sure
gonna be good, definitely.
exciting.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you, and thank you so much for this.
Thank
As
you.
always, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. I hope you take care of yourself, and we get to speak soon.
My pleasure, Naveed. Thank you so much, and you take care too.
Ciao.
Ciao.